Yeah. I don't know how much of a knucklehead you were when you were younger, Lonzo. I got an idea based on doing the show with you for 8 years now that you were more smarter than a knucklehead, but I'm sure you had your knucklehead moments. But was there ever a time in your young life where you're like, I don't think I'm going to make it past 21. I don't think I'll make it past 25.
That cop was on my ass. That was a terrifying time, dude. When that cop, me and that cop declared hatred for each other, he got a gun and a badge and the power to arrest me any given moment. That was a terrifying time. In fact, the one time I spent more than a day in jail, they couldn't find my clothes, man. I thought he was behind it. And they had just found Ron Settles. You look up Ron Settles, folks. Ron Settles was a basketball player that was found hung in Signal Hill back in the day. And I just knew I was destined for the same treatment, dude. I'm in jail. They can't find. How you not gonna find my clothes? I ain't had on a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. How you can't find that? Take them 2 days to find it, man. Meanwhile, I'm stressing like a son of a gun, dude. I'm stressing like Diddy. I was stressing like Diddy, dude. Okay? I was under some Diddy pressure. They finally found my clothes and let me go. But when I got out of jail, he'd been transferred out. I was so happy. But yeah, there was a time, dude, and I thought I wasn't gonna make it.
So he just transferred out and disappeared out of your life, ruined the hell out of your life for a short time, but just disappeared. Never heard from him again.
Never heard from him again, man. But when I moved to Dudo, shortly after I had the little thing with the county, I moved my operation to Dudo. So Jeffy was like, "Hey, man, this dude was on our ass. He was causing problems. He was causing me problems, but the problems was trickling down to Jeffy." And that's when we shut the Eve down. I moved to Dudo's, and he still haunted my ass because he knew where I lived at. And I just started out slickly, man. I had to sneak around. I'd go around the neighborhood, around 2 or 3 blocks out the way and come up the back way. Because sometimes I would see him at the top of the hill waiting on me. And I'm like, dude, he's waiting on me. Oh my God. And then we're talking about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, man. All kind of lies could be told at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I just realized that, I just had to start doing some other things. And I changed my routing of coming home where he had to figure it out. By the time he figured it out, I was already home. He never knocked on my door, but he always, I left the house, pulled up in the house, woo, woo, it was always some bullshit.
Is that the same one that put the pistol to your head? Or that was a totally separate situation?
Totally separate situation, man. Totally separate situation.
Damn.
Yeah, so I should be a cop. I should be a cop hating son.
That's crazy, man.
I should be.
Yeah, I mean, damn, dude. Especially back then, no cameras, no nothing. No, it was just your word against the officers, and usually the officer would come out better in court, right?
Whatever lie he told was the one they was gonna go with. I got caught up one time in Linwood with a gun, and I had the gun in my briefcase. The bullets were locked in my glove compartment, and the cop took a knife, broke the glove compartment open, and put the bullets in the gun and chambered it, and wrote in his report I had the gun in my lap when he pulled up on me. I had to go hire a lawyer, $1,500, and they got everything suppressed. Case dismissed.
Damn. Yeah, that's why when cameras were around, started coming around and being popular, I realized it was going to help against things like that also. Yes, it's Big Brother watching everything you do, but I mean, it's also, I'm sure less and less people are spending their whole lives in jail for something they didn't do than they were back in the 80s. There's probably a bunch of people still in prison right now for shit they didn't do. Just some cop lied on the thing, and now the cop's retired and just enjoying his own life while there's somebody sitting in prison for the rest of theirs.
His business. Ain't worried about nothing he said. And nothing he did is going to affect his life, his pension, anything else. It's all good. You're the one that's destroyed. And that's when I was studying law. I studied a couple of law classes at El Camino. That was one of the things they talked about, how cops and prosecuting attorneys have immunity. So they can just make up some shit, get caught making a lie, and go on about their business. They can literally make a lie or tell a lie, back it up, and you go to jail, and they find out a few years later that they lied. You might get out of jail, but they're not going to do nothing to them cops or the attorney.
Yeah, the system is definitely effed up in that sense.
Yep. So
we're about halfway through the show, so I'm going to remind everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, you are tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo Williams. I am Dusty Vision. That is the Godfather of West Coast hip hop. If you have any questions, post them in the chat, and we'll get to them during the second half of the show. But Sarah Catherine says, I just finished reading your book, Lonzo. Now, let's double down on that, Lonzo, because I just came across something. I don't know if it's new or old, but the Made in Compton store. I saw that you had some stuff in there. Is that a new store?
It's been a while for a minute. Brother who owned it,
okay,
had an issue, man, a few years ago. He got shot, and my girl, one of my friends, we call it Go to Work, Michelle. She took over the store. She runs it for him, and they have a tour that comes through the Compton store daily almost. And hey, now look, people always ask my books. So I put my books in there, and she sells the hell out of them. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because Compton it's a landmark. It's pop culture. It's part of pop culture, right?
Yep.
Safe to say.
Yep. Compton is probably one of the most well-known cities in the world, and it don't have a amusement park in it.
That's good for them. Okay, I'm gonna have to go support that. I didn't know it was even around, but now that I know, I'm definitely gonna go show some support. I encourage everybody out there in LA to check it out too, the Made in Compton store. Did you ever think that they'd be doing tours of Compton back in the day, Lonzo? Like, you know what I mean? In this sense, especially?
No. Compton was hot as fish grease, man, back in the day. No, dude. No, I didn't see no tours coming through Compton at all. But at some point in time, things change, dude. That's why I tell people all the time, you don't know what's going to happen. Just be ready for anything. Compton was one of the most dangerous cities in the world for a while. All of a sudden, it's beloved by everybody. Ain't nobody, and just like Kendrick said, they're not like us. It is what it is, Doc. You can't take it from the city.